First few nights in the van, poured rain, the batteries were getting low. We had no idea how to empty the tanks. And I was laying there thinking to myself, oh man, what did I get myself into? Hi, my name is Derek, and for the past 2 weeks, I have lived and traveled full-time out of a camper van all through Kootenay, BC. And in this video, I'm breaking everything down, from the cost, to the privacy, to the bathroom situation, and is it cheaper than renting hotels and Airbnbs? So you can ultimately answer the question, is van life worth the hype, or does it belong in an Instagram feed? It was the second morning of our trip, traveling through Kootenay, BC. It basically rained constantly ever since we left Alberta. It was single-digit temperatures and the battery was completely dead. So the furnace didn't work. I had to turn on the propane stove just to get some heat in the place, and it's too early to run the generators at the campground. And that's how quickly we realized in this trip how fragile you are without a good power system dialed in, even with solar panels on the roof. So if you're thinking you're going to be able to live and work very comfortably out of the van, I would say kind of yes, but also not really, and I'll explain more later. When the fridge needs to stay running, you need to charge your laptop, your camera gear, you need to have a hotspot on your phone. Everything becomes a juggling act. I thought I'd be working in a van parked by a beach somewhere with a coffee in my hand and a good view in the background, and that's only partially the story. Checking emails and dumping some footage, all that stuff's really easy, but if you have more than 30 minutes of deep work, you're going to need to set up a dedicated area to work in. And yeah, you could rig up something better with Starlink and more battery banks, but then there's the privacy aspect that you have to keep in mind. And for us, it was actually really good. There's curtains and screens inside the van, and that made using the bathroom situation honestly not bad at all. And yes, I'm going to touch on that here for a moment. If you're only able to travel with a tall size bathroom, I highly recommend using it, and you'll never take standard flush toilets for granted again. And as long as you're only disposing of, let's say, liquids, you shouldn't have any issues with smell or mess. And it wasn't bad at all emptying the tanks. It lasts 2 to 4 days, and you can be in and out of the Sani station in 15 minutes. That's a new term I learned, Sani station. Now, as far as fuel use, there's two sides to this coin. The van with the V6 3.5 liter twin turbo Ford EcoBoost and 10-speed transmission. This thing got amazing fuel mileage. I think it had a 90 or 95 liter tank, got about 600 kilometers through the mountains on one tank of fuel. But the generator, on the other hand, as convenient as it was mounted underneath, I want to say it used about 4 liters of fuel per hour. So if you're using it a couple hours in the morning to make breakfast and charge up your devices, and you're using it a couple hours in the evening to wind down and make dinner, and you could use $10 in fuel a day just in having a generator run for a few hours. And that seemed a little excessive, but it was very handy to have, and I would never do another van trip again without an onboard generator. And yes, I know you can buy those portable battery banks, but that all adds on to the cost, which I will completely break down for you near the end of the video. A big question I had, and what everyone else wants to know, is how easy it is to drive the van through a big city. We pulled into Nelson, BC, and if you've ever been there, it reminded me so much of downtown Montreal, where everything is built on a slant or an incline and a decline. And I still had full confidence driving the Ford Transit van around town, finding parking spots, going through traffic circles even. If you're used to any sort of full-size van already, or a half-ton pickup truck, you would have no issues touring around in it. I think most modern vans, like the one we had, has driving assist, so it turns corners for you. It's got active cruise control, so it speeds up and slows down. 360-degree cameras, so you always know where you're looking. This looks like a cozy area to sit down and talk business and go over some numbers. The out-the-door total for the camper van rental, including kilometers, insurance, the nightly rental, friggin' taxes, worked out to $338 per night or per day, whichever way you want to look at it. Total kilometers driven on the trip was 1,580 kilometers, totaling $464 in fuel. And according to some ChatGPT math, that is 17.28 liters per 100, or 13 miles per gallon for the US folks. Now, before any of you think that this is too expensive, I'll share with you a couple ways you can get these trips for even cheaper. If you look for rental deals through various companies, they typically pop up in the Christmas and New Year time, because they want to pre-sell as many vacation camper rentals as they possibly can, sometimes 25% discounts. You can also go and rent during the off season as well. I think July and August are prime time, but we went in June where things were quite a bit cheaper, but you can also go in April and May and cut even more costs off the total. And here's a tip that no one really talks about, and that's always ask for something a little bit extra. A mentor of mine once told me, if you do not ask, you do not get. And oftentimes all it takes is just asking if there's something available. And the absolutely worst case scenario is that they're going to say, sorry, no. From my experience, a lot of the sales and service reps at these companies, they have rotating promotional codes that they can give out for just people that ask or for different scenarios. So you could get an extra 8% off like we did for this early bird promotion. You might be able to get free kilometer usage or linen kits or stuff for the kitchen. So is van life ultimately worth the hype? I'd say yes, 100% yes. Because even in the pouring rain, I'd rather be stuck in a dead camper van in the forest than a rental car in a busy downtown. Sure, you could find an Airbnb or a budget hotel, but then you'd miss on the opportunity to be cooking a tenderloin steak and mac and cheese on the side of a mountain. You'd miss making coffee in the back of your van while taking a ferry to go check out a haunted ghost town. You'd trade all that for 4 walls and a bed in the middle of a busy city? No thanks. Van life gives you the kind of freedom that you can't book with an app. So would you go on a van life trip? Unless you would rather spend that money buying your dream home, to which I will make a video about that. If it's done, it'll be linked here. If not, you better subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that upload. That's all I got for you today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Derek out.